Hi, welcome to my weekly update. I've had a really hard week this week. I don't know what the deal is with what happens with me with a lot of stress, but I think it's a combination of just neuro Lyme and then also the inflammation from Sears from the toxic mold exposure, and I also think I had contact with Epstein-Barr virus. So anyway, I just become this massive inflamed mess, and what it feels like is someone is tightening a belt around my head, and my thoughts and everything else, they race a lot. My head pounds all the time, and I just get some really kind of crazy thoughts in my head. I'll tend to go towards more being angry or paranoid, or just a lot of the negative, really destructive emotions that normally don't really have a place in day-to-day life. But anyway, this morning I woke up and I just felt completely different. I didn't wake up with my mind racing about all the things that I have to get accomplished. In the next couple weeks I will be moving, so I've just been under a lot of stress lately, trying to, get all the balls in the air and start juggling between, getting income squared away and then finding a new place, and just all of the things that kind of go along with moving, and then also just the whole life is a brand new experience for me with my healing process. So I think I've just been really stressed out. My situation just got kind of heavy. But anyway, this morning I woke up and I felt completely different, a lot calmer. I'm exhausted though. I'm so tired. So I'm trying to, the next few days, just take my time and rest and try to not burn out as much as possible before this move has to take place in the next couple weeks. So this update, I wanted to take a little bit and take some time to talk a little bit about what it's like having Lyme disease or any of these other environmental kind of illness factors that I have, whether it's mold or Lyme or some other type of chronic infection or toxicity issues. And here's the truth, and this is almost hard for me to talk about because it's such a pain point with me. I know for me personally, and I think that a lot of other people with chronic illness like myself can say the same thing, which is when you go through a flare, your health, it gets worse. You start getting really sick, and it's scary because for a fact that you cannot go walk into a conventional doctor's office and get any kind of meaningful help. There were years when I spent time in and out of the emergency room, and I think my most expensive time in the emergency room, I was there for a few hours, $40,000 for no answers, and that doesn't include an ambulance ride. I had a seizure when I was laying down to go to try to fall asleep in bed next to my fiance. It obviously woke him up, and he called paramedics and then drove me to the emergency room. So that was getting a CT done with contrast and just all of the other workups and everything that they wanted to do. They found nothing. They gave me no advice and no real medical direction other than, referring me out to see neuro. So yeah. And that's what's terrifying about these kinds of illnesses, is that if you don't have a functional doctor or an alternative medicine practitioner who specializes in your specific thing, you are screwed. And it's terrifying because every time that I end up having a flare and I start getting really sick like I have recently, I am terrified that I'm going to end up back in the emergency room, back in the hospital, where I will be dismissed or misdiagnosed or given no answers whatsoever. It's just, what the hell is going on? It's not, our system is so beyond broken, and it's so frustrating and terrifying as a patient. And then also when you get further into the whole, progression of, the Lyme disease and all of these environmental things, and then you find out that you have chronic fatigue syndrome on top of that, which means that that is yet another alternative specialist. I know for me personally, I didn't see someone that specialized in chronic fatigue or Lyme, and that is honestly where I should have been. So of course it always ends up going that the place that you end up at should have been the place that you started, but you don't know because the conventional medicine practitioners don't know how to handle environmental health issues, and it's nuts. It's absolutely insane. And it's terrifying for the person that's affected with these conditions, because in your weakest moments, when you are the most afraid, you are the sickest, you can't really take care of yourself. I know for me personally, I'm not currently, or for a long time I had to stop driving. I can now drive again, I'm just not currently driving. But you really are at a loss, because not only can you not take care of yourself, you can't go to a professionalist that will help you take care of yourself unless you have an exorbitant amount of money to invest into that process, because these alternative medicine practitioners that are treating these environmental issues are not covered by insurance. So there's multiple things at play within the system that are broken. It's not just the medical doctors and the education system, it's the insurance system, and then you want to go a little bit further, it's also the pharmaceutical companies, because a lot of the answers for these environmental issues are not more man-made things. They're just not. So anyway, I just wanted to take a minute to talk about that. It's something I don't really talk about very often, but it is something that is very much so a part of my almost day-to-day life, is this realization. Is that it's like you can scream, but no one will hear you. Like, it's a very real sentiment. Anyway, so the last thing I want to talk about this week is I want to show you guys some pictures. So these photos were taken in 2017, and this is at Amicalola Falls, which is a park here in Georgia. And I visited this place in 2017, like right before I started having just my health issues were so bad that I couldn't ignore them anymore. And shortly after this picture was taken, I started going in and out of the emergency room. So I couldn't make this whole hike. Like right where these photos were taken was where I had to turn around and go back to the car to go back home, because I was so exhausted. So I just wanted to share this. I had shared this past week on my social media site, so I thought I'd throw it up on here as well, because this is one of my goals, is to get well enough to where I can go back to this park and actually complete that hike, or at least get a little bit further down the trail, because I know that hike isn't exactly an easy one to finish. But anyway, I just wanted to share that. It's one of my goals that I'm going to be working on. But I think that's it for this week. I'm going to take the rest of the day and just try to get some rest and relax, and just try to prepare myself both mentally and physically for the next couple weeks I have ahead of me. But thank you for joining me, and I will see you next week. Take care. Bye.